Well, good evening. Good evening. I wanted to jump on tonight to do a quick live just to talk about leaders and grief. I was wanting to share a little bit of my own story so that somehow, some way, someone can be encouraged, someone can know that they're not alone, and that someone can know that leaders grieve too. And so, with that being said, just a little bit about me. My name is Lita Williams. I am the CEO and founder of InnoLead. All of my handles are Lead with Lita, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, uh, YouTube, wherever you find me, pretty much. Facebook, it might say a little something different, but it's me on all three. So, first of all, I wanted to say thank you to all who know what I just recently gone through. Thank you for all of your calls, prayers, the love, the condolences. Thank you so much for all of that. All of that means so much to me, and I'm so grateful for all of my friends and family who have just been tremendous during this time. So, a little bit about what I want to talk about tonight. First of all, I am the only girl of five children. So, I have four brothers, and what a time growing up. If you know, you know. But I have four brothers, three older and one younger. And so one of my older brothers, who is closest to me in age, he just passed away on this past Saturday. And so I just been kind of the last few days just kind of processing my feelings, processing um just processing through my thoughts, and even the just the shock of the fact that my brother that I grew up with. He was one grade above me, one year older than me, that he's no longer with us. But I do want to tell you the good news before I get into all that I want to talk about tonight. I am not worried or sad about his resting place because I led him to Christ a couple of years ago. So I'm grateful and thankful that my brother is no longer suffering, but God called him home. And so, with that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about leaders and grief. I started out, I think, the other day talking about flexibility and how important it is for leaders to be flexible. And, I'm finding out in this time, and I'm living it and realizing that in flexibility, we also have to know how to downshift and take time to grieve. We got to take time to grieve as leaders as well because we go through loss. And it is important that as we go through loss, that we don't present the facade that grieving does not exist for us, because it really does. We experience personal loss. We experience sometimes professional loss. You can just about grieve any loss. You can grieve the loss of a relationship, the loss of even who you used to be. You can grieve the old you. And so I just wanted to jump on and be transparent tonight, because I don't want to present any image that as a leader you don't go through things, and I don't want it to be where in times past I've had leaders that they would be going through things and they would not grieve whatever it was that they were going through, and eventually it shows up. It's unhealthy when you experience a loss and you don't take time to grieve. And so leaders, like anyone else, we experience personal loss, such as what I've experienced, the death of my brother. Sometimes we can experience illness or major life changes. And the point I'm trying to make is it has an emotional impact. It has an emotional impact, and where our emotions are concerned, if we're not well emotionally, it's going to affect every other area in our life, including how we lead. And so as we experience these losses or as we go through different challenges, I want to be transparent. I want to tell you straight up that I was just to kind of share some of my feelings and be transparent with you. I was feeling a bit lost. I was feeling even a little bit um, abandoned, if I be honest. And I'm saying this because I'm a faith filled girl. I am a faith filled leader. I am one who believes by faith. I trust God. And if the word says that if I pray the prayer of faith, or if I lay hands on the sick, they'll recover, I believe just that. And to just share a little bit, I have prayed for people. I have watched God do it. I've watched God do miraculous things in the lives of people that I just prayed or agreed with them in prayer by faith and watched Him do it. I have prayed for people who are across waters and borders, and I've watched God do it. So I have this inner confidence that if God doesn't do it, it's because it's not His will. It doesn't mean that He couldn't. But somehow, some way, I still felt like, God, you didn't show up. So I went to where my brother was in the hospital. I made a special trip to go because by faith, I said, God, if I lay hands on him, you are able to heal him. And I went there and I prayed for my brother. I laid hands on him. And God spoke to me in that moment that it was his time. He was going to take him. But inside, I still wanted to say, God, you can change your mind. You can change your mind and you can still do it. And what I want to say to leaders is sometimes we have hopes about things. Sometimes we really, really hope and pray that all will be well with our business, all will be well with the people we lead, all will be well in our own lives, in our own families. And sometimes we believe wholeheartedly for that. And when things get shaken up a bit, when things don't quite go the way we want them to, sometimes it shakes us up a little bit. Sometimes it causes us to have to grieve the fact that the plan didn't work, grieve the fact that the idea wasn't the right one, grieve the fact that, you know what, I'm not who I was last year, even though last year may have been good. Things may have been great in your life, in the business, in everything that you were doing. And then this year, it looks like things are going differently. And you miss all of the goodness that happened the year prior. And sometimes we have to grieve that was then, this is now. And so as I was thinking about all of this, as I was thinking about how everything transpired, how I was processing that God was not going to raise my brother up. How was this going to affect me emotionally? And so as I began to think and process through it, at some moments I would just cry. And other times I would be, Lord, well, it's your will. It's not my will, it's yours. Your will be done. And I'm finding out, ladies and gentlemen, that grief can lead to growth. Grief can lead to a place where you build empathy. Going through grief can make us as leaders more empathetic toward others, especially those um, on our teams, those who are experiencing their own losses, those who are going through their own problems, their own issues. We build empathy, and we build resilience. Grief can help us to gain a deeper perspective on life, on our values, and on our priorities. I think it is so important that while painful, that we understand that it can also contribute to our personal growth and resilience. It can make us be more grounded and compassionate leaders. And so I wanted to jump on here to share it. And my mom, y'all, my mom wants me to do the eulogy. And when she asked me, I was hesitant at first. Not that I can't do it or don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. I can do it. I was just trying to figure out, am I going to be able to get myself together so that I can speak to those who are still living? And so I'm so very appreciative for those leaders, those trusted leaders that I have in my life that I can call on and they can encourage me and they can pray for me. I appreciate those who are genuine, those who are authentic, who are ready to jump in and say, hey, we got you. We're praying for you. So I appreciate those trusted leaders that I have in my life. And so I just wanted to jump on for a short while just to let us know that even when we face hard places, even when we run into difficulties, as we allow ourselves in times when we need to, that we grieve, we are setting ourselves up for growth, for stronger resilience, and that we make sure that we are creating an environment and a culture of emotional support and understanding for those that we lead. And I just wanted you all to know tonight that I'm acknowledging my own grief because I want to set an example for others. I want to show this vulnerability is not a weakness, but it's a part of a human experience. So I hope that whoever you are out there and you catch this video, whether you're catching it live or whether you catch it on some other date and some other time, know this. As you allow yourself as a leader to grieve properly, to to grieve and process through your feelings in a healthy way. This is not a weakness. It is not a weakness to show and to acknowledge that you got some grief going on. It's a part of a human experience. And I just want to encourage other leaders. Allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself to grieve when necessary so that you can build that culture of emotional support with those who are around you. And that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. If you have any comments or questions, you are free to comment. And if you have any questions, I'll gladly come back and answer any questions that you have for me in the chat. But just know that leaders, we are here supporting, we are here teaching and training, we are doing all these things. But when it's time for us to grieve, don't try to present an image or a facade that grief is not a part of our life as well. It's a part of our process when we need it. All right, y'all. I pray that you all have a good night and that if you're a leader, not only do you recognize where you are, but that you are also very aware of the people who are around you and empathetic towards them. Have a good night, y'all.